Throughout his speech this evening, President Obama referred to the militant terror group as ISIL.
But often we hear the term ISIS or just Islamic State. So that had Cindy from Egan wanting to know, why do we call the same group by different names? Good question. Heather Brown joins us right now. So surveys have shown that these different names create a lot of confusion in the American public.
They sure do. People think that maybe we're talking about 2 or even 3 different groups. But what we're talking about here is one group of terrorists that have split off from al-Qaeda and taken over large parts of Iraq and Syria. And as you might imagine, these words have symbolic meanings beyond the translation.
To push back against ISIL.
The ISIS terrorists.
ISIL's victims.
Terrorist group known as ISIS.
My husband had lunch with his parents today, and they were talking about it and thought that it would be a good question.
The ISIS threat.
ISIL is a terrorist organization.
The whole acronym debate comes because we're trying to represent what's really an Arabic set of terms.
Mark Berkson teaches religion at Hamlin.
Al-Dawla al-Islamiyya fi Iraq wa Asham. Well, then the question is, what is that last part? What does that Sham stand for?
The ISIS camp thinks it's Syria or Greater Syria. The ISIL camp says it's the Levant, a larger geographic area.
Syria, but also Israel, the Palestinian territories, Jordan.
All the way into Turkey.
And if you use just Iraq and Syria, it seems to say, well, that's all they really want to do. Just create an Islamic State there. But their ultimate goal, and they have said it themselves, is much bigger than that.
Some suggest President Obama uses ISIL to avoid talking about Syria.
The last S stands for Syria. The last L, they don't want to have stand for Syria.
Which is unfair, I think.
The threat from ISIL.
Really, it's recognizing the threat in the fullness of it.
Why do we use ISIS? Is it just easier to say?
I think that might be part of it.
And now that the group wants to be known only as the Islamic State,
Islamic State militants,
what we call them could change again.
It's very hard to predict. For me, the more important prediction is what's going to happen to that organization.
Now, given the vast majority of Muslims reject this group, some Muslim scholars have suggested not calling it an Islamic State at all. They say call them what they are, al-Qaeda separatists in Iraq and in Syria.
And so when did they restart
Right.
calling themselves the Islamic State, if that's what they're going to use?
Right. So they started doing that a month or 2 ago. And Professor Berkson says it really tells you the grand ambitions they have by dropping any geographic area. They would like to take over the entire Muslim world, which underscores just what a big deal.
And what a big threat.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.